Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and welcome to this special edition of the CEO's Bright Chat. Some of you may well be aware that once in a while, the MTN CEO takes time to interact with customers on a range of issues that affect them. So we're very excited that today we have another exciting session of the CEO's Bright Chat. However, this one is somewhat distinct because much as we have viewers following us on Facebook, we also have an audience in front of us, which is predominantly representatives of all media houses in the country. And we also have senior officials ranging from members of parliament, senior officials from the Ministry of ICT, and we also have the communications regulator in our midst. So I would like us to, without much ado, turn it over to the CEO. Good afternoon, CEO. How are you today?
Good afternoon, Mandla, and thanks for having us this afternoon.
Okay, thank you. Maybe at this point, I'd also like to say hi to the Honorable Minister. Good afternoon, Minister.
Good afternoon, Mandla. Very glad to be here.
All right. We are aware, CEO, that we are witnessing a launch of a game-changing campaign today. Can you please tell us about it? What is it about? What triggered this campaign?
Thank you, Mandla. And maybe before I get there, first of all, we just appreciate the Honorable Minister for having us this afternoon at MTN. It's an honor always to bring the Minister to our building, and also to appreciate the CEO of Eskom, who is here as well this afternoon. We have the director from the Ministry of ICT here as well this afternoon, and the chairman of the portfolio committee from the parliament. We were honored to have Honorable Manqoba here as well. So we really appreciate this opportunity. I think as MTN today, we want to launch the campaign, You Deserve the Best at MTN. And I think it's going to speak to a lot of things that we as MTN feel our customers out there need. And so we're going to address some of the concerns that customers have been talking to us about, and then give solutions which I believe will make a change in our customers, and also make a change in the economy of the country. So that is why today, Mandla, today we are here to launch this campaign. It's a very important campaign. We've thought about it for a very long time, saying to our customers, you really deserve the best from MTN.
Okay, so how does it connect with the overall customer experience? You deserve the best. How does it link with the customer?
So the build-up of this campaign, Mandla, has come through a number of interactions with our customers. So we normally get feedback from customers through our frontline staff, our contact centers. We get feedback from our customers through Facebook and all the online feeds that we have. And so we collect all that information, and we've used that information to then come up with this particular campaign. It actually talks to how we want our customers to view us as a trustworthy brand, and what we want to do for our customers as well. So some of the things that customers have spoken about, first of all, is the pricing of data. Customers have said MTN data pricing is expensive. So we want to address that question, first of all. Secondly, our customers have come to us to say, sometimes I load a data bundle and my data bundle disappears, or my airtime disappears. What are those challenges? And we've addressed those questions, and we're going to speak to that today. Some customers are saying, you're sending us too many SMSs. Every morning I wake up, I've got 5 SMSs, and then by the end of the day, I've got 10 SMSs, all of them speaking different things to different customers. And so that is a question that we've actually addressed in this part of this campaign, to say we need to then limit the number of messages that we send out to our customers, as well as making sure that we send messages that are relevant to where you are as a customer. And so those are something that we've also put into this campaign. And the most important one as well is when our customers interact with our frontline staff, either in the contact center or in the service centers, they need to make sure that they get the best preference as a customer. So you cannot be queuing for a very long time in our contact center whilst waiting for an agent to address your needs. You need to be able to be addressed as quickly as possible and get that issue resolved first time. So those are some of the things that we've actually put into this campaign, and said today we were launching it and saying we are a trustworthy brand, and we're going to address these questions, and customers going forward will be happy with our service.
Interesting. Maybe let's start with what I presume to be the biggest pain point. that of data pricing.
Yes.
How is this campaign speaking to the whole idea of data pricing that is perceived to be expensive?
Yeah, so we did a number of activities. We went to benchmark against the pricing within the region. We benchmark pricing within our country as well, and look at Eswatini, how much do they pay for data currently, and then we looked at where do you want to see Eswatini progressing from now for the next year and to the next 3 years. And so that is how we then come up with the pricing that we're going to announce today. It is basically a combination of where we want Eswatini to be in terms of what they want to pay for their data, as well as benchmarking across the region as well. So we believe that we're going to put it in a space where Eswatini will feel that really MTN has reduced the pricing of data in the country.
Thank you, CEO. Maybe at this point, may I turn it over to the Minister, Honorable Minister of Information, Communication and Technology, just to give us a broad view in terms of how the country perceives the use of data. And further in this discussion, we'll see how the announcement that the CEO is going to be making links or supports what government is pursuing.
Mandla, thank you very much, and thanks again to the CEO for inviting us. I do want to acknowledge the presence of Honorable Manqoba, who happens to be the portfolio chairperson for the Ministry of Information, Communications and Technology. We have Director Dlamini, who's Director of Communications, and we also have the CEO of the regulator, as you've said. To your question, I think first of all, I think it's prudent for me to express government's appreciation to MTN in particular. As we have been battling with COVID-19, a number of entities have come through for government in many different ways, and MTN has been one of the leaders in terms of working with the different institutions in the country to intervene at this particular difficult time. We launched not too long ago an e-payment platform for business registry, and MTN is the platform that we are currently using, and the response from the public is amazing. This has helped to reduce costs and reduce the need for travel, and therefore has been a very vital intervention in fighting COVID-19, but more importantly, it is a new way of doing business that is dramatically improving our ease of doing business. And this project is only a trial. In other words, we want to then be able to roll it out to many different offerings in government as we offer government services. Secondly, we needed to be able to trace people that were being suspected of having COVID-19 or already have been confirmed to have COVID-19. We needed to develop an application that will actually help us with the contact tracing, tracking the movement of people, and MTN worked with a number of key stakeholders to make that possible, and it has really assisted our Ministry of Health in that regard, because it has allowed our contact tracing to be more effective than it would have been without this particular solution. Thirdly, we've had to look at how we disperse what we call social grants.
Yeah.
And in the past, it was a manual process, and in our different Ngundla centers and other points of convergence, the elderly would converge and be within close proximity of each other, and obviously that was going to be a big no in terms of social distancing and the speed and efficiency with which this was being done. MTN and other stakeholders came to the party and offered a solution where now this is being done electronically. It has introduced amazing efficiency, significant cost savings, but more importantly, it has actually helped the country to eliminate the need for the elderly to come together We are launching many different digital platforms as we speak. We will be launching something called the Trade Information Portal at the end of this month, and people will have access to that through the convenience of their handheld devices. I've just come from an event where we were launching an agricultural platform called NAFIS, which is also a plant import and export portal that will allow business people to be able to use an electronic platform to trade. And it will also be using a lot of data, and people can do their business in the comfort of their home using their handheld. And MTN, I'm told, is also playing a very major role in that. But with all the major interventions that we are doing, the cost of data has become an issue. I'm glad the chairperson is here, because the last time we had a report that we were defending in Parliament, he gave me a hard time to say, what are you doing about the cost of data? So not only have you been under pressure, Wandile, but politically, I've also been under tremendous pressure to work with all the stakeholders to see how we make data affordable. I think some of the benchmarks that the CEO was speaking to are telling us that the cost of data is disproportionately higher in Eswatini than other countries. I was looking at some data this morning. There are so many different reports, but the one I was looking at was saying out of 229 countries that were surveyed, Eswatini was ranked 212 in terms of most expensive data. So we are almost one of the most expensive countries when it comes to the cost of data. So I am truly excited to be here today to hear what the CEO is alluding to in terms of the campaign that is being launched today. And I think it will be transformational, but most importantly, it speaks to the future. His Majesty said Eswatini should be a world-class state by 2022. And that means we have to migrate into a digital-based economy at government, in business, socially, and in every kind of platform. And that cannot happen if data is not accessible and affordable. And I think what I'm hearing today makes me smile.
Music to the ears indeed. Thank you for giving us that broad picture in terms of how data has become the currency of our time in all that we do and all that government aspires to do for this country. Maybe at this point, let me turn it over to the CEO. Clearly, this is a bright chart, and you are here to brighten our day. Yes. So at this point, can I invite you to let the cat out of the bag? Yes. What exactly is happening around data pricing?
Okay. Thank you very much, Mandla, and thanks to the Minister for the kind words. And I think certainly in as much as we are focusing on what the customers have said, and we are saying we have listened to our customers, but we've also listened to the government. And I think we've had a lot of engagements with the government around data pricing. And so today we're going to answer that question as well. We've had engagements with the ESCOM several times. So we've actually been part of this process towards us reducing the pricing of data in Eswatini. So it has really been a number of stakeholders that have really been involved in this process. It really started a long time ago. If you look at the fact that we started having, on a yearly basis, data pricing reduction for the past 4 years. Last year we reduced the out-of-bundle rate from about 80 cents to 49 cents today. Early in the year, we had to bring in those COVID-19 supporting packages, such as work from home packages, the student bundles or the learners bundles. We also introduced those night bonuses. So a number of initiatives have actually been done towards making sure that our customers, whilst they're using our network and our data, they are not really affected by the pricing. So today we're just going to then confirm again our commitment to our customers, our commitment to the Minister as well as our regulator, that data pricing in MTN is going to be reduced going forward.
Yeah, maybe at this point, I'm sorry to chip in.
Yes.
It is generally said that pricing of telecommunication services is a regulated space.
Yes.
Can you please elaborate? What does that mean? Do you just reduce prices at a flip of a switch? What are the processes that are involved?
Okay, so Mandla, the process that is involved is we obviously as MTN, as an operator in the country, will propose a particular rate that we want to bring in to our market. And then we then take that rate and we submit it to the regulators so that they can then look at it with their own expertise and obviously benchmarking around where they want the pricing to be. And then they give us a response based on that application. And then if they obviously approve it, then that goes into the market. But if there are any discussions between ourselves and them, obviously it tracks the period. But it actually gets to a point where both parties agree on a rate that we can then go into the market with. So the one that we're announcing today has been approved by the regulator, and I believe that is why they're here. They honestly be on our side in terms of making sure that the rates are approved, and these are the rates that we want to go with in 2020 and obviously going to 2021.
All right, thank you, CEO.
Yes.
Maybe just a quick comment from some of those that are watching us live on Facebook. We have a comment from Lungster West. I love how WHO COVID-19 guidelines to curbing the spread is being followed in the studio. Kudos. Yes, we have made sure that we adhere to WHO guidelines, your social distancing, your sanitizing, etc. So please go ahead, CEO, and tell us the good news.
Thank you, Mandla. Okay. So in summary, Mandla, MTN Eswatini today is reducing the cost of data in our network by 32% for prepaid. 32% is, I'll make examples of what 32% means to the ordinary customer, but we're reducing the data pricing by 32% for prepaid. For postpaid, we're reducing by almost 70% on data pricing. So this is really a huge reduction of data pricing. Again, this is our commitment to make sure that our customers going forward from today onwards, when they buy our data bundles, when they use our network, they are satisfied. We've got a good number of customers that are going to give us feedback to say, really, MTN is on our side. We've reduced the prices. So we've listened and we're responding to them to say, data pricing for prepaid, reduction by 32% on average, postpaid, a reduction by 70% on average. And so, Manda, I'll unpack a number of these packages so that then our customers can be really clear on what is it that we're achieving going forward.
The first one that I think is exciting is the bundles that we're introducing that will not expire.
Yeah.
They are called freedom bundles. Tell us about that.
Okay, so currently, Mandla, we have three packages that are normally called daily bundles. So if a customer purchases that bundle, it expires at the end of the day if you have not consumed that data for that period. So for example, you buy a bundle for 10 malangeni and you get 45 megabytes of data. If you do not consume it by end of the day, it obviously expires. So now MTN is saying we're bringing freedom to our customers. So you purchase that data bundle at 10 malangeni, you get 65 megabytes of data. It does not expire for the whole day. So which means even if it takes you 2, 3, 4 days to consume that amount of data, that data will remain with you until you consume it and you finish it. So this is the freedom bundles that we're bringing in today. It's the very first time in the country that we have an expiry data bundles. Generally, over the years, as operators, we will produce data bundles that will expire at a certain period of time. But today we're saying we're bringing freedom to our customers. You buy these bundles, they are really very popular bundles in our market, starting from 2 malangeni, 5 malangeni, 10 malangeni. When you use those bundles, they will not expire until you can consume all of that data. So really, there's freedom that is coming to our customers from today. Today, Mandla, these bundles are available, they're online. So since midnight this morning, they're online. Our customers can purchase these freedom bundles and enjoy them and make sure that they really can confirm that they do not expire in a day, Mandla.
Okay, thank you, CEO. That freedom is coming tomorrow is merely a song, but freedom is actually here. Let me take a comment from some of the viewers that are following this discussion on social media. There is one from Terispo Pepete. Thank you so much, guys, and thank you so much, Mr. CEO, for such a good campaign that you are bringing to the nation at large. And all our thank you goes to MTN staff for the hard work they bring in us. The everyday training in them also reach us as customers. We wish you all guys the best. Work for us to stay connected. I don't regret using this network. Let me take this one from Lwazinjabulo. Meanwhile, MTN service is pathetic until you take into account the pricing of your services. 1 GB data is twice expensive as 10 kg rice. Where on earth do we grow the money from? I'm excited that the discussion that we're having today is speaking to these concerns, and I'm glad that we've just unpacked one of such products, and I believe that as we engage, you'll continue to walk us through some of the products that we are bringing in. Maybe I need to loop the minister at this point. Here is a price reduction, 32%. Prepaid customers and up to 70, in excess of 70% for postpaid customers. What do you think this means for the country in terms of connectivity?
It's a step in the right direction. It's a game changer for us. We do know that MTN is the dominant player in the market, and most people use MTN. So this means, to coin the phrase, freedom for the end user. The reason I say it's a step in the right direction is because, as I alluded to before, we still have a lot of work to do as the industry to look at why it is so costly to do business using data in Eswatini. This year, though, is going to really propel us in the right trajectory. And I think my conversations with the regulator in particular have been, there are other initiatives that are currently in the oven being baked. And when it all dovetails nicely together, we will be here not so long ago announcing a further reduction because we do want to be competitive. We look at it from a business point of view as well, to say when businesses are looking to set up in Eswatini, Wandile, one of the key things that they're looking at now is the cost of data. It is really a deal breaker for investors. Because, and I'll make a simple example. I was speaking to one of the banks. They were telling me that pre-COVID, their costs of data were around about 3 million emalangeni per month. But because of COVID, they've had to work from home, virtual meetings, and all the like. Their monthly cost of data has risen from 3 million to, do you want to guess? 10 million.
10?
Yes. So think about that. So if you are saying that 10 million is being reduced by as much as maybe 31% or even 70%, this means money that goes into further investment, money goes into employing more people, money goes into innovation. So for me, I really want to applaud this move and to encourage MTN and the industry to have a continuous improvement mindset, because elasticity will allow you to make up for the loss in revenue, because that means more people will be using data and they will be using much more of it. And I predict that you will make more money by this move than you were making before.
Let's hope so, Honorable Minister. I want to indicate that at the close of the session, we are aware that we have media practitioners from almost all the media houses in the country. We will extend an opportunity for them to ask questions on the campaign that we are launching today. I hear there is a bundle that specifically targets teachers. Can you tell us about that?
Okay. So there is a bundle that is meant for teachers. The discussion between ourselves and SNAT is still ongoing, but I think certainly it's meant for for us as MTN to support teachers throughout the country so that they can then obviously get more discounts than the discounts that we are offering today. So a lot of these service bundles will offer voice minutes, it will offer on-net and off-net minutes, as well as offering data bundles. So it's really an exciting moment for teachers, but I think as soon as we can conclude that arrangement with SNAT, and I think we'll then be able to go out into the market and sell it to all our teachers.
Okay, thank you about that, CEO. Can you talk us through the post-paid offers, which seems to be coming with a huge, a massive offer of slightly over 70%? How, maybe with examples, how is the data pricing changing?
Yes, the postpaid is really important for us, Mandla, because I think over the years we've not really touched much on reviewing the pricing for postpaid. We've mainly concentrated on prepaid for a very long time, obviously because it's a bigger market. But I think from following what the minister is saying, there's a lot of businesses that are using postpaid packages. So it is important for us to make sure that we focus on postpaid. We've looked at this pricing for postpaid, both for data only packages, as well as the packages that include voice, data, SMS, as well as off-net. So I think those are the changes that we're going to bring to our customers today. Now, if I make an example today, a customer will pay something like 460 malangeni per month on an elite package on postpaid. And they'll get 500 minutes, they'll get 400 minutes of on-net, which means calling another MTN number. They'll get 1 GB of data. They'll get 200 SMSs only for that amount. Now today we're saying our customers can pay 370 emalangeni a month, and they'll get 500 minutes of on-net minutes. They will get 2 GB, which is double what they're paying right now. They'll get 2 GB of data, and then also they'll get the 200 SMSs. But on top of that, for the very first time in MTN, we're now going to offer an off-net proposition as well. So they'll get 100 minutes of off-net, which means they can then be able to call within the country all the other operators using those 100 minutes. So it's really a game changer. It's the first time that we're doing it as MTN. We've never done it before, but I think it will really bring excitement to our postpaid customers. It will also as well bring in the numbers on our postpaid, because we believe that the postpaid customers who are really bringing in a business continuously every month, they need to get the best. So that is why the campaign today says you deserve the best. So we're going to give them all these packages. There's also a number of other packages. The volume of data that they get is doubled from what they are getting today. For example, if you are paying 700 today, you pay 588 going forward, but your voice is also going to be doubled. Your data is doubled, as well as getting the off-net minutes, which you have not enjoyed for now. Currently, our customers on postpaid will have to pay extra for the off-net minutes, but going forward today, they will have to use these bundles and still be able to enjoy making off-net without adding anything on their monthly packages. So this is really something that is being brought to our customers for the very, very first time, and we believe that going forward we'll be able to review contracts for customers. Now, going to the data-only packages, which is again those customers that buy a SIM card and put it into their iPad or any device that only requires data. We've actually increased the volume of the packages for postpaid. So which means if a customer today was paying a data bundle for 150 malangeni and getting a 1 GB. Going forward, they will have to pay 95 malangeni and get still that 1 GB. So you can imagine we've reduced the pricing, but also maintained the volume for the customers. Some of the volumes, we've actually doubled it so that customers can be able to enjoy more data with those SIM-only packages. So again, it helps customers to make sure that they've got a SIM card connected on their phone, there's a SIM card on their tablet, there's a SIM card on their MiFi, as well as all other gadgets that need a SIM card, and they'll not be able to pay more than what they're paying today.
Okay, thank you, CEO. I think there is an element that's interesting, the element of gadgets.
Yes.
In the past, I understand that if you wanted a particular package, let's say within 1,000, you are willing to spend 1,000 in terms of your telecommunications need. I understand then there would be a cap in terms of what gadget you could get as a result. So are there any developments around that space?
Yeah, so currently when a customer, for example, was paying the lower elite package, we'll guide them on how much they must spend on a gadget, on a device, on the mobile phone. But today we're saying we're opening it up and make it unlimited. So you can still pay that less amount and then get any gadget that you want and bundle it together. And that is now going to be supported going forward. So we're not going to limit our customers on those. For example, if you're going to pay 370 Malangen and you want to have an iPhone, you'll get the 370 Malangen package and then still be able to get an iPhone and bundle it together and then be able to use and enjoy the MTN services. So that is now not going to be limited. Previously, we were limiting you based on the amount that you're paying on a monthly basis, but going forward, that limit for the devices is not going to be there. You can take any device that you want and enjoy the services at MTN.
Another element of freedom there, because I know it has been a pain point for some customers that I want a premium gadget. But I'm only willing to spend 500, 1,000 rands in terms of my telecommunication. I think
maybe perhaps just to go to the question that Lwazi posed, because I think it must be a pending question for him. It's just to tell Lwazi that today, as of today, a 1 GB data on prepaid is going to cost you 99 Malangen. It used to cost you 150 Malangen. We've reduced the price to 99 Malangen. In actual sense, if you look at what it is within the region, we are really being able to match what is happening even across the border. So that is the new price that we're bringing in. So Lwazi would be happy to go and buy a 1 GB data bundle for 99 Malangen. Definitely that is cheaper than what he's paying for rice.
Yeah, it's definitely cheaper than a 10 kg of rice. I know it's beyond 100 Malangen. Let's take a comment from Pesibat Zelis and Langamandla. We really appreciate the openness and accountability from government and operators in engaging in these forums. It will surely go a long way in improving quality of service, customer satisfaction, and affordability. Let's take another one from Mabox D. Dlamini. I encounter problems with social bundles where they cease to function, yet the balance is sufficient. I'll give you an opportunity to respond to that. But I also want us to speak to the other pain point that has been consistently raised by customers, that of excessive promotional messages. People would say, I am waiting for an SMS notification for my salary, and boom, it's an SMS from MTN. Can we talk to that? How is this campaign addressing that pain point?
So Mandla, this campaign is addressing it because we've now looked at all our customers in terms of segmentation and look at what are the things that you are interested in, because obviously in the past you must have obviously subscribed to a particular product. So we're only going to send messages to you based on your things that you like and the things that you actually access MTN services for. And so we're not just going to then broadcast every other message to all our customers. So the segmentation has been very, very important. Number two, the number of messages that we send to our customers now has been reduced due to our fair usage policies. So which means going forward, you should not be getting a number of messages per day. We've now reduced the number of messages on a weekly basis, so you get at least a minimum of 1 message per week. And then so within a month, you should be able to get at least 4 messages. This message is just important because they actually promote some of the services that customers do not know about. And we also use these messages to teach our customers so that they can know about our products. So it is still important for us to interact with our customers on a continuous basis. However, we should not then bombard customers with too many messages so that then they get discouraged and not use our services. So this campaign, Mandla says, we are not going to be bombarding customers with too many messages. We're not going to manage the messages on a continuous basis. On a daily basis, you're not going to get too many messages, but at least once a week you will get a message that talks to some of the things that you're interested in, that talks to some of the things that we believe as a young person, for example, you might be interested in. For example, we've been sending messages to you about our Ayoba application. We send messages to you about music time, etc. Those are things that will appeal to the younger population. but to the older population probably will then send something related to job adverts and so on and so forth. So those are things that we have now structured in such a way that it is looking at a particular segment of the market, Meshach.
All right, just take us through the short code that customers can use to check which services they are subscribed to, because at MTN, excuse me, I understand that we're encouraging self-help platforms. I know that some people still believe that they need to talk to somebody to resolve their challenges, but we are encouraging that they need to utilize self-help platforms. And I know that there is a short code that they can use just to keep checking if they are subscribed to products and services they're interested in.
No, that is very important for customers to be aware of the short code, because it helps them to manage any subscriptions that they've put themselves into. Sometimes you subscribe and you forget that you've actually subscribed to that service, or sometimes you've done it and then you just want to get out. So just by dialing *585#, you can then be able to see what are the various services that you have subscribed to, and then if you then opt, you can opt out, you can also opt in to those services. So that code is very important for our customers to make use of on a continuous basis, especially on the digital platforms where you are subscribing so that you can then get information from MTN, or subscribing so that you can enjoy certain services that we are rendering to our customers.
Okay, thank you, CEO. And then that short code is *585#. You can log in there and check which services that you are subscribed to. Maybe at this point, Honorable Minister, we know that the government is working hard to make sure that there is economic recovery in light of the negative consequences, the negative impact of COVID-19. So how do you see this data price slash supporting a host of those planned initiatives to resuscitate or to stimulate the economy?
Mandla, when we were crafting our economic recovery plan, we identified a number of what we call enablers. And some of these enablers are in the ICT space. I think top of the list was cost of data. So I'm very happy to say we are beginning to deliver on that promise. Because as we've said before, the cost of data is a decision point for small, medium, and big businesses. So this year is one of the key enablers that we will see business people in the country really celebrating this development. And it will allow them to be more free in terms of their ease of doing business. Secondly, we have launched in Africa something called the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, AFCFTA. What it is, again, is enabling trade across Africa. Intra-African trade right now is sitting at just 15%. Africa trades more with other continents than it trades within itself. And this AFCFTA is aimed at encouraging African countries to trade amongst themselves, African business people to find and utilize and optimize markets within the continent. To do that, we have agreed that there needs to be a digital platform. And one of those platforms is what we call the AE Trade platform, which Eswatini has agreed to host. One of the regional centers will be in Eswatini. This price reduction really allows small businesses, young people in particular, to really take advantage of the AFCFTA, because now wherever they are, at Nkundleni, in schools, in universities, we have a program working with the regulator in particular to ensure internet availability. Now that we have a price reduction, they may not even have to need internet availability. As long as they have a signal from MTN, they are going to be able to access these platforms, trade with the rest of Africa, from you know, wherever they are. It is something that is truly transformational for Eswatini. We are looking to devolve the economy from the economic corridor to our you know, constituencies, so that we start to see development at Nkundleni, where we come from. And that can only happen if, you know, data is available and accessible, as well as affordable, which is, you know, what we're here about. So one cannot overemphasize the significance of this here today, and it really it gives a license to business people, particularly young people, particularly small business people, to really explore and find out what the world needs, and using all of these platforms that we are developing in the country. It just again says, you know, Eswatini is open for business.
Thank you, Minister. Just one quick question. Are there specific ways through which government is stimulating innovation, particularly innovation that would capitalize on the use of data?
Absolutely. We actually have an incubation center at the Royal Science and Technology Park, and it is aimed at digital innovation, amongst other things. The Minister of Sports and I had a meeting last week to talk about, amongst other things, intellectual property and copyright acts, to ensure that we help young people to be innovative, but in being so, to be protected. And we spoke about the fact that you know, the cost of data in particular is a prohibitor to young people that may not have gainful employment. We know that you know, unemployment with our young people right now is upwards of 50% in this country. So that means then whatever, you know, opportunity they get, they need to utilize that opportunity gainfully. So if they are going to be restricted by the cost of data, it may inhibit their ability to innovate. We see, particularly in the arts and culture, you know, aspect of things, a lot of potential from young people. We see a lot of production that is happening even online at the moment, and I can only imagine what this will do to accelerate you know, those capabilities, and to also you know, give permission to young people who otherwise would have felt inhibited before. And in terms of just regular business, a lot of regular business is transforming to digital. Even in just simple things such as delivery of groceries. I was speaking to a young lady who is a farmer in Spotlosini. Her surname is Tole. A fantastic mind. And she is using an app that she has developed to receive orders for vegetables. And she is using that app to deliver these at home in the advent of COVID-19. These young people, you know, have unbridled ideas that we need government to enable, and our job at a government level is to really engage quite aggressively with the players in the industry to ensure that we make it affordable to come up with these great ideas.
Thank you, Minister. Probably, I imagine the lingering question on the minds of some postpaid customers. You have said that these developments kick in today, and then for the postpaid customer, what happens? When does it kick in?
Well, the good thing about them, it kicked in about a week ago because of the way that we bill them on a monthly basis. So already on a week ago, any customer, postpaid customer that comes in will then enjoy the new packages. Okay. So it is based on our billing period. So they are already enjoying it as of today.
Oh, they've been having it.
Yeah, they've been having it for almost a week now.
All right, yes. All right, that's fine. Any other exciting packages that we can look forward to?
We want to speak to the youth. I think it's important. So I think one of the questions that came up obviously was around the social bundles. So we've brought in a bundle that will combine all your social handles. So it will have Twitter, Facebook, WhatsApp, as well as Instagram in the same package. So that package is already available today. So if you go to *686#, you should then be able to subscribe to that particular package. But I think the one that we want to bring in for the first time again today is TikTok. And I think the young people out there are really enjoying taking videos all over and posting it on TikTok, sharing it with their friends. We did not have any bundle that speaks to TikTok. But today, we want to introduce a TikTok bundle to our customers, especially the youth, to say, go out there, enjoy yourself, take those videos wherever you are, post it at a very low amount. For 50 Malangeni, you can have a 1 GB TikTok bundle. And that is really a lot of videos that you can be able to upload into your TikTok and have your friends enjoy it. It's really a new thing, but it has really taken people by storm all over. And I'm sure the news that have gone around TikTok. So it is something that I think the young people are enjoying it. Even the elderly people already are taking TikTok up. So let us have our customers going out there and showcasing a lot of things that are happening in Eswatini, our culture, showcasing all the things around the businesses as young people. Put it onto the social media platforms, put it on TikTok and let people enjoy it. And the pricing is already there. So again, if you go into *686# and look for TikTok bundle, our customers can buy those bundles. So really, we're excited as MTN that for the first time we're bringing this into our country and make sure that our young people and elderly people as well are going to enjoy TikTok bundles.
Thank you, CEO. Already tickling my palate, TikTok. Lots of fun over there. Yes. I would encourage our audience over here to get ready with the questions as we try to wind up our session. I would at this point turn it over to you, Honorable Minister, your final thoughts as we get to the close of the session.
My final remarks would be to say thank you. Thank you to MTN in particular. I do remember earlier this year, Wandile and I had a good conversation with a gentleman in Ghana called Ebenezer.
Yes.
And we spoke about this subject. I was quite emphatic about this. Yes. And a promise was made, and the promise was this is going to be prioritized and this is going to be worked on. And I also want to say thank you to the regulator, because I have been very clear as well to the regulator to say, let's ensure that we have this ongoing conversation about reducing the cost of data. It has been exciting for me to see that collaboration, you know, and I do want to thank you, Wandile, for your leadership, and thank you, Mvila, for your leadership. And I do want to again thank the Member of Parliament, who's the chairperson for the Portfolio Committee, because he has been giving me sleepless nights about this. He drives a hard bargain. You know, Eswatini is looking to be the launch pad for doing business in the region for the African continent. There's a lot of other initiatives that we are working on in our strategic roadmap. Okay. I do believe that, you know, being able to celebrate today such a significant milestone is going to give momentum to our economic recovery plan, as well as other such initiatives. You know, leading from the front is something that we are used to from MTN, and I'm very happy to be here today to hear this good news firsthand, and also to encourage you that you know, it is a journey, and the journey you know, is such that in the region we need to be very competitive in terms of cost of data, and I think we've begun that step.
Yes.
So thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Honorable Minister, for your kind words. As rightly articulated by the CEO at the start of this session, this is essentially the 5th major price reduction since 2016. So to your point that this is indeed a journey. Maybe at this point, your closing remarks before we open up to the audience, the side of the show.
Thank you, Mandla. Thanks very much. First of all, just to appreciate the Honorable Minister for being with us today, for the really kind words. I think we've taken notes of everything that he has said, and our promise as MTN is that we will continue to work closely with the ministry, work closely with the regulator to make sure that we address any concerns around our services, and again to make sure that over the next coming years we see where we can still partner with them in terms of making sure that we can manage the pricing. We also want to appreciate the leadership coming through from the House, and I think it's important that we have today the chair of the portfolio committee. We really appreciate that they are supporting us as MTN, and again our commitment that we will still continue to work and drive technology within the country. We continue to drive the use of technology and driving digital transformation throughout government services, throughout private sector as well. So it's an area that we're going to play in going forward. So we're bringing in a lot of innovative ideas that I think over the next few months will start showing to our customers as well. And also again, to appreciate so much to ESCOM. They've really played a very important role to where we are today. And if you look at the number of meetings that we've had with ESCOM over the past few months and over the years, really they have been really driving this transformation of pricing. And so it is important for us to also appreciate them. And I think in the past few months when we started having challenges of COVID-19, they came on board, they gave us spectrum for free, and we appreciated Minister and the CEO here. We've been enjoying this spectrum, and making sure that we can provide excellent service to our customers, because over this period, obviously with so much data customers consuming, we've had to make sure that there is enough capacity on our network. So we really appreciate ESCOM for coming into the party, and also for being part of us when we work on this price transformation, and again to promise them that we'll continue to comply and work with them, engaging them going forward, and make sure that we do have that very good working relationship between ourselves and the regulator. And again to appreciate the media for coming through today. Really very important for us, because this message is meant for eMaswati. So this message must go out there. Onke eMaswati fune athi uthi MTN wendeni namuhla kuze kuthi sathi ukuthi qhubekela phambili in terms of the progressing in the country, the economic condition, in terms of all the things that we are bringing on board. Customers should be enjoying those services. So we really want to thank the media for giving us a platform to communicate to our customers, to communicate to all our stakeholders. And I think very important again to appreciate our staff. The platinum team in MTN really does a lot of work, and so we just want to appreciate them. It took us a very short period of time from the time when the pricing was approved to today when it is now live. Really, they've been working day and night to make sure that all the systems are configured correctly, because again, we do not want to launch a product into the market and then come a week or two later, it brings in a lot of challenges to our customers. Yeah. So they've really done a lot of work, and so we thank our staff members through the company for working tirelessly to make sure that this product and this reduction is successful. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, CEO. It's like you read my mind. I was thinking network capacity already, because we don't want to roll out a price reduction only to experience an outage a few days later. Thank you so much for that. At this point, I have seen a couple of colleagues from different media houses. I'm not sure how this is going to play out at this point, but I'm sure that they have questions. At this point, I would like to open it up to the media houses who are here, who would like to go first. But maybe as they organize their question, I see Lushaba, Eswatini Observer. Let me take this comment. I'm already foreseeing, it's from Limbongeni Pinnacle Matsebula. I'm already foreseeing the positive economic impact this will have on businesses, especially in COVID times, where the internet space needs to be overly utilized to continue with trade. This is an amazing step forward, gentlemen. Salute. And then there's Sax Lamini, who says this is very much in line with the Eswatini is open for business narrative. Thank you, Honorable Minister. Then we have another one from Nomkosi Nhlabatsi. Thank you, MTN Eswatini, for being the best network, and wow on TikTok. So clearly a lot of people are getting excited about TikTok. All right, can I take Mr. Alec Lushaba, editor of Eswatini Observer?
Thank you, Mr. Wandile. Thank you, CEO and Honorable Minister, for the good news and the way we are heading in terms of the project that we have announced today. But maybe firstly, Manda keeps on saying campaign, and I'm worried about campaign. Campaigns have a short period of span. So is it a campaign? Is it as I heard also the CEO saying this is the, and we have also said that. But the campaign word, what was worrying me.
Okay.
People say campaign, it says maybe it's from September to January.
Okay.
We should enjoy this. After that, you go back. So maybe let's encourage them.
Okay.
The other issue, I think every good news, as the minister was saying, we appreciate without saying, yes, this is it. He was very careful in terms of saying, yeah, we appreciate the move, because people are saying, hey, the cost business is complaining. On the ease of doing business, you hear telecommunication, water, and electricity being issues. So when the prices are going down, then you start to say, at least we're heading somewhere. But I want to go back. We have been with you guys for over 20 years now. When people were complaining about the prices being high, we used to be told, gateway this, gateway that, what's this and that. And now one would want to appreciate this move and say, okay, we are having this because this has happened.
Yeah.
Because we also want to encourage the regulator to do the things that will make you guys work, to deliver what you want to deliver. So we appreciate when they have made certain moves. But I would also want to know, how would an infrastructure company help you deliver more good products to customers? Because we know that amongst other things that hinder your plans to deliver more products at attractive rates is that you are also compelled to invest in infrastructure yourselves. So sometimes I do get to hear comments like, we need an infrastructure company that's going to focus on the network, and let us focus on the other things that we are all about. So how are we? What can you say about that point of that infrastructure company? And lastly, I think those were my comments in terms of the good news that we are receiving today. What has happened, and then and the infrastructure company, and also on the issue of Manda that last commented about the network issue. As you said, CEO, Manda will remember when we introduced 4G. There was that that Ferrari and that one and the other car. But even when we were supposed to be seeing that Ferrari, we couldn't see the Ferrari. So how are we? Maybe you can also hint to us about the 5G. South Africa, has introduced it. When are you planning to bring it into the country? Because we want to drive various cars. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Alec. I'm not sure if we could take another one. Do we have another burning question so that we can just lump the responses? Any other question from the media? Or I take it that Alec has asked for all of the media practitioners. Because he had a couple of questions, I'll admit. All right, maybe we can go ahead and respond, CEO. I'm not seeing any hands.
Okay. Thank you very much, Alec, for very good questions. I will try and address them, but probably the infrastructure question, I'll leave it for the Honourable Minister to deal with. But I think, yeah, the campaign, Alec, says you deserve the best. That is the campaign. But the data pricing itself, the reduction of the data pricing is permanent. So the campaign says we as MTN are going out there to drive the belief that we want to be the trusted brand in Eswatini. And so the things that we're going to be addressing, obviously data pricing being one of them, we also need to address the other underlying issues that we've been having coming through from our customers. I spoke about the fact that customers are saying, when I load data and then I lose my airtime, etc., those are some things that we can close within a period of time. You know, customers complaining that we queue for a very long time when we call into the contact center. Those are things that we can address within this campaign. But the data pricing itself is permanent, and so going forward, it will not be part of the campaign. It will then be a permanent product into the future. But those things that are affecting our customers today, we need to be able to address those and close them. And going to the question of the regulator, we've worked with them with regards to the reduction of this pricing. So they are responsible to make sure that the suppliers where we purchase capacity from should also give us a preferential pricing. So it is on that strength that we as MTN were then able to reduce the pricing. It was based on their own working and negotiations with the upstream providers such as EPTC. So when they reduce pricing, then it gives us also some bit of room for us to reduce on that front. So that is why we're able to deal with the issues of reduction of the data pricing. Network, we've actually invested a lot in the network in the past few years. 4G network coverage has really increased over the past few years. Today we are talking about just over 180 4G base stations in the country. And going to 2021 and the latter years, you will see that this number of LTE sites are going to grow and almost double, because today we have a number of areas where they still don't enjoy 4G, they still have 3G. And 4G obviously is the Ferrari that you're talking about. So if you can bring it to those areas which are currently do not have LTE, then those customers will enjoy LTE coverage. So it is a process that we're ongoing. And again, in terms of the capacity that we have today, it is sufficient to carry the amount of traffic that we're experiencing in the network, as well as the capacity that we're having today will be able to carry the traffic when we reduce the pricing. So we do have enough headroom to manage the capacity going forward. Let me talk to the 5G before I head over to the Minister on the infrastructure. 5G is really something that we are working on as MTN Eswatini. Obviously, it involves a lot of areas that we need to consider. It's not a cheap network to roll out, first of all, so we need to be able to convince our shareholders so that we can then be able to invest in this particular network. But currently we are engaging with various stakeholders, suppliers who can come into the country and be able to assist us to roll out a 5G network. Probably it could be 2021 or it could be 2022, but it is a discussion that is already ongoing. So we need to obviously look at the investment into the 5G, probably a trial for some time, but it is definitely something that is on our table to make sure that Eswatini very soon should be enjoying a 5G network as going forward.
All right.
Let me ask the Minister to help us with the infrastructure company.
Because it's a difficult question. Well, as we know that EPTC is basically responsible for the infrastructure in particular. We are still working on a strategy with EPTC with the assistance of the regulator to see how we ultimately unbundle because until we've been able to do that, we cannot really expect EPTC to effectively address the issue of the infrastructure. So it is a bit too early for me to make firm commitments on that, because it is a very consultative process, and there's some significant decisions that government will have to make based on a number of proposals that the EPTC organization is still preparing. And once those have been tabled and government is able to make those key decisions, which ultimately will liberalize the industry, because right now it is not truly liberalized. And when we get to that stage, we believe then that we will be able to address the infrastructure question adequately. Mr. Al-Shaba is right. Until we get to a point where we have decent world-class infrastructure, I think our product offerings will always be, less than our competitors in terms of the countries that we're trying to benchmark against. So we are acutely aware of this. We are doing everything we can to, expedite those, business cases that we need to approve before we can then say, let's invest in an infrastructure company after the divestiture of EPTC from MTN, and that's a conversation that is ongoing. But I'm not ready at this stage to make any firm commitments, because it is still in the preparatory phase.
All right. Thank you, Honorable Minister. I'll take one final question from the editor of The Nation magazine, Peggy Makubu. Mfana Sibili Slongonyane from Independent News, editor-in-chief there, would close. So it will be Peggy Makubu and then Mfana Sibili. And then that will be it. Unfortunately, we've run out of time. We can only take these two. Thank you. Can I turn it over to Peggy? Yeah, please go ahead.
No, I was actually making a follow-up to Alex's question on the 5G.
Okay.
That's why I tried to stop it, because it had something to do with what the CEO had said.
Okay.
So I thought I should ask the minister that, seeing as the CEO is talking about consultations and everything, can the minister assure us that we will have 5G as soon as practically possible? Because in the end, that it's a government decision. And is there any reason why we shouldn't have it, other than the logistical issues? And I also now, having heard you speak of infrastructure and the problems that come with EPTC and everything, Minister, the problems between MTN, EPTC, and now Swazi Mobile are as old as technology in Swaziland. Careers have been built and destroyed on this problem. In fact, Alec will tell you of a meeting we had with one minister before you, who assured us that he will fix this problem. He left. And I'm worried to go say now umfana ngosta ubuya elivini so long akayisort. Because believe me, Minister, at the level that given the time it has taken to try and resolve this issue, you shouldn't be worried about consultations and all that, because you should have found that done and everything. But the fact that you're still consulting over a matter that is some 20 years old tells you how difficult this thing is. But that said, how do you think it's going to be solved, at least before you go back to your substantial position?
Should I respond?
All right. Can you also take Slongonyane, and then the minister can respond to all of the questions?
My question, if not with regards to the introduction and doing CCO in terms of lama data. There's been an outcry, more especially to labantwana lemakaya and everyone ukuthi ema-data ka-MTN ayalahleka lacingweni. Ukuthi uyawafaka after a second or 5 minutes ukhanze asapheli ungakendi lutho. And every time usually is a problem that nase bashaya la ka-MTN bacela kuva kusikwendekene. MTN will always tell them ukuthi letincingo tabo abakati set kahle in terms of ukuthi there's some other things that are going on the background. Yiyo ledla lama data and everything. So the question is, what is MTN is going to do about that? Because that's the biggest thing then that MTN athola inhlamba in terms of lama data. Ukuthi bawafaka labantu labanye basikwa away. But ever since kuqala kwendeka lokho, we are not seeing MTN taking initiative ekufundisa labantu ukuthi what do they need to do, what they need to be aware in terms of lencingo tabo ukuthi angadleki lama data. On the other one, it goes to the issue of data. The issue na minister nakafika cala khuluma ufika 18. I just want to find out ukuthi kule reduction yasi liya 70% and 32% that minister has announced. In terms of the rating as a country, because it to kangakanani. Njalo minister bekusile ukuthi ubone ekseni kule kubo 211 or something. Kuthi sathatha kusibeke as a country the effort le into MTN namuhla. And lastly, kuva nje minister ukuthi indzaba ya MTN na SPTC sesiyabathola yini labathenga nama shares bobani ungasatisa insive in confidence ukuthi sebakhona bonke sesihamba la. Ngiyabonga kakhulu.
All right, questions well noted. I'm sure that you'd want to take turns responding to the question. Not sure, maybe I should give the Honorable Minister the first opportunity.
Thank you very much. I think on the first question, Yamakubu, on the 5G, government is committed to ensure that 5G is definitely available. There is nothing at a political level that is a hindrance. It is just now, technical, logistical, and practical issues that are being worked on. So I can give that assurance that at a technical level, at a government level, at a political level, we are 100% supportive of the project year 5G. On the issue of the divestiture of EPTC from MTN, one would say that, as I've said, it is not opportune time for me to make a firm commitment as you request in terms of the timing of that project. But to assure you that we are doing a lot of work to present a proposal that Cabinet should approve, and thereafter we then implement. But we are not at the stage where that proposal has been finalized. I can say, though, with absolute confidence that the main hurdle right now is the proposal that is coming from EPTC requires government to put in a lot of money that government currently doesn't have. If they can come up with a proposal that does not require government to put in a lot of money, I don't want to state the figure because you will fall off your chair. That could be done. So that is the challenge that Cabinet has given to the to the EPTC board and management, to say, when you tell the nation we are ready, let the numbers add up. So in other words, if you sell the shares for X amount, how much money will you need to transform? And when you then transform, are you going to be able to pay for that? If not, where are you going to get the balance? And the answer is always, if we can get X amount from government, we can make this happen. And government wishes to support that, but is not physically capable of supporting that. So we are, though, working on a solution now that will not need government intervention. And I believe, and to answer your last question, it will be doable. Government is continuous. I'm only holding fort until the substantive minister, Nkosatana, comes back. But I found a lot of work already having been done, and I'm continuing with that work. And when the substantive minister returns, she will see that through. So it really, you know, is irrelevant whether it will be happening whilst I'm acting or not, because my time for acting is not defined. I could very well not be acting tomorrow, so we can never then make commitments on the basis of my acting, because it is really irrelevant to the question. But what's key is the fact that you know, we cannot start a journey that we can't finish, and we want to make sure when EPTC ultimately diverse from MTN, they can pull it off. And to be able to do that, the numbers have to add up. Right now, they are not. And I've looked at it quite stringently, and I've challenged both the chairperson and the MD and their respective teams to say, how do we get a solution that will make the numbers add up, so that when we pull the trigger, we're not going to be embarrassed as a country. We want to make sure it is going to be successful. So I think there's been a difference in the understanding between the nation and you know, government. And I think it's our responsibility that we bridge that gap. The nation believes it's as simple as saying somebody is going to buy the shares, they've bought the shares, EPT is going to be independent. When you sit down to look at the business case, there are many holes. And once we understand how those holes will be filled, it is going to be a very simple thing to do. But right now, we have really not invested time to say, how are we going to close you know, those holes? I think I've said a bit more than I wanted to say, but I think it sort of gives you a window into what we are dealing with, because until we really understand how EPTC is going to deal with their pension fund hole, which is quite a substantial amount, how they are going to deal with the cost of the transformation, including redundancies, which is a very substantial amount, the cost of establishing 3 new businesses, which is a very substantial amount. When you do the numbers, whatever we will glean from selling the shares pales in comparison to what we need to set this institution up. So it would be irresponsible to do it without having answers to those questions. But we are working on those answers. And I think it has also answered Shlongwanyane's questions to say, have we found somebody to buy the shares? There are many people waiting to buy the shares. That's not the problem. The problem is that the money we will get from buying the shares isn't going to pay for the bills.
Thank you, Minister. CEO.
Thank you, Minister. Thanks, Mandla. Just to go back to the question Manqoba had asked around 5G, just to confirm what the Minister is saying, it is definitely supported from government. The regulator has also spoken to us about 5G. So there is nothing stopping us politically and from a regulator point of view for us to roll out 5G. It is internal within MTN, and as soon as we can be able to invest in a 5G network, it will definitely go ahead. So it's something that's going to happen. I can confirm that. So it's nothing that is stopping us from going that route. Going to the issue of data and customers complaining about the data disappearing from their phone, it is part of the campaign. Again, some that we are working on. You've raised a very critical point around customer education. That is very, very important. And if you look at some of the creatives that we've put on social media in the past few weeks, speaks to how customers can be able to manage their data on their phone. And it speaks to some of the things that we're talking about. So when you're having your mobile phone, sometimes it uploads and downloads a number of software in the background. It has to consume from the same port. So we're now trying to educate our customers how to see that your phone is actually uploading or downloading data and consuming data which you were meant to use for something else, but then in turn it is used by the mobile phone itself. So the education is very critical. So it will continue for a long period of time. So when you call into our contact center, when you go into our service centers, our front-end staff will be able to assist you to manage your device so that you do not find yourself where you're losing data on your phone on a continuous basis. So it is part of this campaign. I'm confirming, and it's something that we're going to be continuing to focus on going forward. In terms of the rating, where this data pricing reduction will put us as a country, I might not have the answer now, but I think our regulator will definitely give you some numbers sometime soon, just to show what this reduction has done for our country. And I honestly believe that it will put us in a really a good position if you look at where we think we will be, especially within the SADC region and especially in Africa. We strongly believe that it will really put us amongst the number of operators that are low. But I think we'll leave that with the regulator to be able to give you a sense of where this reduction will put the country going forward.
Okay, thank you, CEO. May I take this time to appreciate your active participation and for asking the difficult questions. And I want to thank the Honorable Minister for coming through and the insights that he provided from government, and also to thank the CEO for taking us through both the campaign itself and the data price reduction. So this session was not meant to be exhaustive. There's a lot of information that has not been shared, but I can assure you now that through different media platforms, we will be consistently communicating what are the product offerings so that our customers can take advantage of this price slash. So may I take this time to thank you sincerely once again for coming through, and would also want to thank those that have been following this discussion online through Facebook. I hope that you will enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you.
Thank you, Mandla.